Okay, guys, I think that we are ready to get started. Anybody else who joins us later on, I believe that they will be easy to catch up with us. So without further ado, hi, and thank you for joining us on today's webinar. We are quite happy to have you here. We do have quite exciting topics to cover today, and that is how to manage your geospatial data live with QGIS and GIS Cloud integration. My name is Antonia Netolitsky. I'm a key account manager here at GIS Cloud, and with me I have Barbara Telebec. She's our solution consultant and our main educator. Hi, Barbara. Are you ready to show everybody what we have in store today?
Yes. Hi, Antonia, and hi, everyone else. Thank you again, as Antonia mentioned, for joining us. So why don't we get started?
Great. Yeah. So definitely, let's get started. And first, we will go over the agenda today. And we will start by giving you a short introduction on who we are, what kind of solution do we offer, show you some of our use cases, and then we would like to focus on our 3 solutions that we made, and that is to complete the entire workflow that you have installed, and that is with the help of QGIS plugin, mobile data collection from GIS Cloud, and then web feature service as a server, or the ability to generate WFS links from the map in your GIS Cloud account to consume them in any other GIS solution. And because we love to live on the edge, we would like to show you all that in action through our live demo presentation. We will also have Q&A session in the end to go over any of the questions you might have. So feel free to ask them as we go. You can write it down in our chat and we will cover them later on. So without further ado, Barbara, can you get us started?
Sure thing. Okay, I can see there are a couple of familiar names here in our attendees, but for everyone who is maybe joining us for the first time, just a few short introductory sentences about GIS Cloud and what we are. So in short, GIS Cloud is a collaborative mapping solution for the entire workflow of your organization. I think we can all understand that it's very important, really crucial, in fact, to include spatial information into your decision. You might be a GIS user already, you might be a complete novice, but I guess you're here because you do understand that it does serve a purpose. Of course, it helps you make decisions faster because you can see everything, and it ensures that all participants are kind of on the same page, and it can also help you track your progress. So the only question really is, how do we implement this? The issue that we found is not everyone is as proficient as you might be, and they really don't need to be as proficient. You can have a lot of different types of users here, from someone who is a GIS expert, a GIS analyst, or something like that, to someone who is really a complete novice and just starting out with this. What we found is that, traditionally GIS was kind of always for the GIS department, used by really a small group of users, and oftentimes the tools that they have been using, they come with a very steep learning curve. But of course, the data itself, it's not just useful to the GIS analyst who creates all of the data, who manages it, but it's also important to a number of different people. It can be your colleague, it can be a client, someone from another department, a decision maker. It simply helps them do their job properly and also facilitates their decision making. So how do we help? What we wanted to do is fix this. And this is something you might be familiar if you've used any kind of GIS interface that can get complicated very quickly. So we wanted to fix this with this. Basically, what we wanted to do is ensure that GIS is in an environment that's very approachable and user-friendly, and it serves the exact purpose a non-GIS user might need. That, of course, doesn't mean that we didn't add some advanced features there, and one of those is definitely the option to integrate your existing desktop workflow with our cloud-based solution. And of course, since everything is cloud-based, that means you're not really investing a ton of money into hardware or infrastructure or servers or maintenance or anything like that. You're using what you already have, and that can really, get costly pretty quickly if you are buying all the new hardware and all of the infrastructure. So it makes it very easy to set up and very fast if you're using things that you already have and you're already using them. Of course, that doesn't mean that you should fully switch over from desktop solutions. Sometimes you just need that extra power, extra functionality that a desktop tool such as QGIS or ArcMap or anything like that can give you. But you still want to be connected. You want to maybe simplify your fieldwork. You want to share your maps with others. So that's where the tools that we'll be discussing today come into play, our QGIS and our Web Features Service as a server. And what we'll show you is how you can take your existing maps from QGIS and start collecting data directly into them. So how do we make sure that you are able to collaborate on any of your projects? Well, we've created 4 main applications that serve this purpose. They're all intended for different user types, but they're really all synced up. So for advanced users, there's Map Editor that enables you to create and manage your maps and data from anywhere. Then we have the mobile data collection that simplifies your field work, and it helps you collect or update data through customizable forms. You can collect anything from text, numbers, photos, signatures, or you can make your form even more user-friendly by adding some predefined values. Of course, any maps that you create, you can also share them with others. That can be either publicly or privately through our map viewer and map portal options. Both can be completely customized. So if you're sharing it privately, for example, you can also then control who has access to the data and what they can do with it. One thing that you might have noticed about this is that we haven't been mentioning any industries. So nothing is industry specific. So that means there are a number of different use cases that can be applied here, and a number of different use cases for which you can use our platform and our applications. With that being said, Antonia, maybe you can give us a few examples.
Yeah, don't mind if I do. Like Barbara said, you can imagine that we have quite big user base all over the world. And we find ourselves talking on the same day with clients from Canada, Nigeria to clients in New Zealand. We really do cover all continents, and the clients come from all sorts of industries and all sorts of GIS knowledge for that matter, from small businesses to large corporations to government agencies or institutions. So in the next slide, you can see just a few of the use cases we would like to share with you. We have everything from fieldwork in water utility companies where they are using our mobile data collection to inspect manholes, to roadwork maintenance, to forestry. We have clients who are working on preventing electricity theft, to some of the more humanitarian projects like a non-profit organization that is working on providing safe, clean and drinking water in Liberia. I do welcome you all to check out our blog and read more about our interesting use cases, because while these all look completely different, what they all have in common is that spatial information and collaboration is a very important feature for all of them. So we do have a lot of our users who still use some sort of desktop solution, and we are really okay with that. We don't want our users to be locked on our platform, but we want to expand and embrace. And today you will see what we can do for our QGIS users. So if you are one of those users, hope you don't mind me asking, but how do you share your maps with others? So if you are willing to share, you can write it in chat so we can see how you are utilizing your solution for that kind of workflow. So I do have a couple of questions. Do you print out your maps or send them as a PDF? Is the system that you are using reliable? And to what extent you are actually able to collaborate on it? Does your field crew maybe use a printout map, draw something on it, and then when you need to digitize it once they are back at the office? I don't know, even talking about this type of workflow is a little bit too time consuming. So we would like to show you how we solved that problem. How do we make sure that you can combine the online solution with a desktop one to really have that kind of full workflow and have it to be very fast, simple, and optimized? So we did that in a couple of steps. We developed a solution for that kind of 3 approaches to this question. So the first option is, what do you do if you have all of the data ready? You are working on a map in QGIS. You want to publish it and make it available to others. The simplest way would be to use our QGIS Publisher, or as some call it, QGIS plugin. And what does it enable you to do? It takes any project map that you have created in QGIS, and it simply copies everything into GISCLOUD, into your account. And that way you can easily share this data with a number of different users, whether it is privately or publicly. The key thing here is to allow you to transfer everything from your QGIS project, or even if you are working on a large project and you need to share just a portion of it, you can do that as well. So the benefit of this is that with the publisher, you're not just transferring your maps, but you also transfer all the symbology that you have set up in your QGIS. The reason for that is that we can imagine that it took you a while to set everything up. So this will save you a lot of time and you will not need to redo your steps from scratch. With the publisher, everything gets transferred for you. And in addition to that, the publisher also enables you to make updates to your data, meaning that if you do need to make any changes in your QGIS, you can simply click on update and it will sync your GISCloud map with any updates you made on it in QGIS. If you, on the other hand, need to have separate versions, let's say like something like version control, you are also able to then publish the same data on a separate map and have them both online available to share. You can share both public and private projects, so you have full control over who gets to access your maps. You will see some additional options over our live demo, including a couple of examples we prepared for you. And the great thing to mention is that the plugin is free, so you can download it and give it a try. It works for QGIS 2 and above. So now that we have uploaded your QGIS map to GISCloud with a couple of simple steps that you will see later on in our live demo presentation, you can easily prepare your data for fieldwork inspection or collection of completely new data. You can use existing or create new data sets that you can collect the data to. And the benefit of this kind of workflow would definitely be that you are able to receive feedback from the field in real time. This will give you better response and reaction time if necessary. It will save you a lot of time, especially for those of you who are using paper and then digitize everything on a daily basis back at the office. And this way you can maintain that operational visibility that is important, and you can adjust your work orders on the fly if needed. So now we have covered how to transfer your desktop data to an online tool. We have covered how to prepare for the data collection from the field. And now you have that data maintained and collected, and you need to have it available as well back in QGIS, all those updates that are being done by your field crew. So we made a feature for that to enable you that kind of full circle where you also have the data on desktop and in the cloud. And we accomplished that by enabling you to create web feature service from any map that you create in GISCloud. So basically, what you can do, you can consume GISCloud data in QGIS as well. The great thing about this is that you can actually share this data with others who are maybe not using QGIS. You are able to share it regardless of the platform they are using. It's a matter of just that service supports web feature service. Next slide, please. So maybe just to highlight are some things that we have just now said. This allows you to do would be to see any data that you have collected in QGIS or any other platform you have been working with. It allows you to share your data in a public way, but also in a private way. You can still control whether someone can see your map or not. And in addition to that, since you are using a web feature service, you also have the option to then edit and analyze the data in another platform. Specifically, in this case, we will be showing you how to accomplish this in QGIS, but if you are utilizing any other GIS solution, you can try it out there as well. So now you have a full circle, some data that is in QGIS that was uploaded to GISCLOUD to be able to support the field crew that is collecting the data for you. And then the data that field crew collects, you are also able to consume in desktop in QGIS. And that means that you have access to some of the more robust and more advanced analysis GIS tools that QGIS offers, while you still have that one single point of truth, one source for all of your data. So you don't have any duplicates, you don't have any obsolete information, you don't have all the information, since everything is done real time and you can coordinate your teams more effectively this way. So with all that in mind, maybe it would be best if we now switch to that live demo presentation and show you what this looks like in practice. So Barbara, if you are ready, please take over.
Sure thing. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let us switch us over. So in our demo today, we'll show you how you can actually take your map from QGIS. We've prepared a little example map over there, and how you can then take this, make it available online, and also start collecting data directly into that map. Of course, we'll show you how you can later on take this information from GISCloud and then consume it in real time in QGIS as well. It's very simple, pretty simple, with just a few steps. You can use our publisher to further simplify things for you. And as Antonia mentioned, the plugin itself is completely free. So you're more than welcome to create an account if you don't already have one and try it out later on. So what we have here in QGIS, what we've prepared is just a simple sample map for you. We have some information about zoning in Fort Collins, just a simple polygon data set. We have spent some time to create a custom symbology for it. So we'll also show you that this is something that does transfer as well, especially useful if you already have some kind of a standard classification system that you're using, or if you've if you have a lot of different classes, sometimes setting them up, there's no need for you to do all of it again. Now apart from our zoning information over here, we've also prepared a couple of incident reports. So this is see it here. If I turn this off so you can see it a bit better. We have prepared an incident reporting layer. What this layer will show us is some more information about certain troubles that we found in the city, things that have been reported. This was once previously a data collection layer, but we'll make sure that we can actually fill out this information and get more information from it. So what we have is just incidents on different accidents, whether it's road type incident, vegetation incident, something like that. We want to make sure that our field crew can go outside and inspect these locations and let us know what's going on there, and if needed, they can fix it. So what we'll do is we'll simply create a data collection project for this layer. Now, before we actually get to that, we first, of course, have to make this map available online. So for that, we'll be using the GISCLOUD Publisher I mentioned earlier. You can see here, it's a plugin for QGIS, and it can help you upload all of your data. You can see that you can upload, you have a few options that Antonia mentioned. You can upload all of your layers or just some of them. So for example, what I usually like to do is upload everything apart from the base map and then simply add a new base map over there. So let's click that we only want to see visible layers and publish a map. We can name it incidents, that's okay. We can say whether the map will be public or private. In this case, it will just be private. This is maybe a bit better now. Can you guys hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Let's continue then. So what we've done is basically taken our map directly from QGIS, and we've published everything through. I cannot see. Okay, let's see. Is there anything wrong with this? Okay. There we go. We're back. Okay. Slight technical issues there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for letting us know. Okay, that's why it's always good to have a couple of people here in the office to let us know. But okay, so let's continue. So what we've done is we've taken our QGIS map and we've simply uploaded to GISCLOUD by using our QGIS Publisher. As you can see, the map is pretty much exactly the same as it was in QGIS. The only really difference here is that we've changed the base map a little bit. Oh, you didn't see the starting up? Sure. Just to let you know here, so what we've done basically is we've published our base map, our map with the GIS Cloud Publisher that we have for QGIS here. So pretty simple. You all you have to do is click the button here, and everything gets transferred. So any kind of data that you have prepared here in QGIS, your map, the symbology, and all of that, it gets transferred directly into GIS Cloud over here. The only difference that we've made here is we've added a new base map just so we can see it better. Of course, all of the symbology was transferred as well, but what we're really most interested in is our point layer here. This is our incident layer where we have some previous incidents reported, and what we want to do is we want to send a couple of our field crew out to inspect everything to make sure that those reports really are true. And we also want to let them know or actually enable them to let us know how it looks and whether they have actually resolved the issues that are reported here or not. So of course we can review all of the information here, but what we can do before is we can make our data editable. So we'll just go ahead and import our geospatial file. And don't worry if you're, not catching up with exactly every step, because we will have a recording later on that we can use. Incidents reporting, let's call it like that. And it will be a point. So what we're doing now is simply making sure that our data is editable, because what we have transferred is actually just a shapefile that we won't be able to edit. So we can simply replace the source that we had before. Instance, there we go. Those are incidents. So now we can see, we can go ahead and we can edit this. Now, we could simply go ahead and start editing this data in the field like this, but of course that's not really as user-friendly as possible. So what we can do is we can create custom forms that are used specifically for editing of our data. So how do we do that? We have a forms manager where you can easily build your forms. And in this case, we are working with an existing data set, but it's something you can do also from scratch. Even if you don't have any data, you can start collecting it from feature one, basically. A good little feature we have here is create from layer, which basically lists all of the attribute fields that we have, and it saves us some time so we can get started on our forms quicker. Now, what we want to do is, of course, we want to take all of this information that we have. We want to present the existing information to the data collector. So if there's already some information about a particular feature, we want them to be able to see it. But we also want to enable our data collector, our field worker, to provide some feedback from the field. So what we have here is really a couple of additional fields that we've added that will be editable, but you don't have to worry if you've maybe forgotten to add those additional fields through QGIS, because you can always add additional fields through GIS Cloud as well. Simply add more columns to it. Now, to set up our form, for the most part, we can leave it as it is, as the text, because those are all of our pre-existing data. In fact, what we can do is make sure that this is read-only so that they can see the information, but they won't be able to edit anything that's already there, already existing. We'll give them, of course, editing permissions for the later fields for something that they do have to fill out. So we'll have like a 50-50 where parts of the data are simply read-only and parts of it are editable. So let's go ahead and let me just adjust these read-only ones. And now we can actually get started on the information that we want from the collector itself, from the feedback. So the feedback that we want to receive. Of course, the form itself, it will differ completely depending on what your use case is, what kind of information you're looking to receive from the field. But this is just an example so that you can see how it works. So what do we want to know from our field workers? In this case, we want them to let us know whether they did the inspection or not. So we'll add a radio button and where they can choose simply yes or no. Okay, and we can maybe also say that this is capital letter. And you can also make your fields required or persistent depending on how you want to set it up. For example, having required and persistent fields also ensures the data quality that you're receiving, and that's also something that is true for predefined fields such as radio buttons and select lists as well. So it can definitely help you get the information faster and also get the correct information from the field itself. So let's say that we want to also include a reason if a certain inspection wasn't done or if they weren't able to resolve the issue that they found. So for that, we will actually add a select list. We want to know what's the reason for not resolving the issue. What's the reason? You can add more information with the description fields to the data collector. It's useful because you can, of course, make it a lot longer and provide a lot more information than just a simple name. So what might be the reason? Let's say we are missing some equipment, or it's a false report. False, there we go. Or maybe we need approval for this. You can also add labels if you want to. Now, this is something that doesn't have to be answered if we actually have done the inspection. So we'll actually also add a dependency. So dependencies allow you to customize your form further and hide or show fields depending on some previous answers. So for example, this is a field that should only show up if we haven't done the inspection at all. Let's just see if we've made sure that the name is the same, and there we go. We can also continue with the rest of the fields. So for example, inspection date. We want to know when a certain inspection was done, and we can choose what we're collecting, whether it's date and time or just date or just time. Work done. We can say that this is just a simple text field as well. Of course, you can always go back to this form and you can customize it further if you've maybe forgotten a step or if you want to provide some more information. That's something that can always be done later on as well. We can also take photos. So this is something that we want as well. Photo of resolved issue. And we also want to know who the person who has done this inspection was. So what we'll do is we'll add a username field as well. So you might have noticed there are certain automatic fields here that we have. There are certain fields that do require user input. For example, there are a lot of things that you can ask, whether it's a predefined value, we can ask the user to write something down, or you can also collect some automatic information such as username, coordinates, etc. So you can really fully customize the form based on what you're trying to get from it. In this case, we'll keep it simple as it is. Okay, let's say that the name is reporting, incident reporting. We can go ahead and we can save that. And we can simply attach our form to the layer and make sure that now when we do attach it, that any change that we want to make on the attributes itself for our features, they are going through the form. You can see the first few are read-only. We can only see what information we already have, but the rest is something that does require user input, and this is what we're asking our field workers to do. So for example, you can see that if we click on no, we also have some additional fields that open up, and that's what we've accomplished with the dependent field that we've set. Now, of course, it's not just me who can work on this map. The whole point is for us to enable feedback from the field. So all we have to do is really save or rather share this with our field workers. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with Antonia here. Yeah, there we go. And we can give her some different permissions, and specifically to use with our data collection for providing some feedback from the field, we have to give her the mobile data collection permissions, and you can control here what kind of permissions they have by choosing the right, let's say the right combination for your specific needs. Okay, so maybe we can now go ahead and show you how it looks like when Antonia actually connects. You can give us just a couple of seconds so that she can.
Okay, it's me again. So what we are now doing, we are just pairing up my mobile screen with the computer so you can see everything on the end user side of things. And in the meantime, while we are connecting, I will answer a question from Ken McDonald, who is asking if we can publish imagery as well. So the simple and easy answer is yes. So you can go ahead and try it out. So the mobile app, the mobile data collection, you can see it here. It's available for Android and iOS devices, so you're free to download it from Google Play or App Store, depending on what device you are using. Once you do that, you need to log in with your credentials. And once you do that, you will be guided to the settings of the mobile app, where you need to choose the map that was shared with you. Once you do that, the next would be for me to actually make those field work inspections that Barbara requested from me. And since I'm running an inspection, I will not be accessing the form, but the map screen, where I will actually be navigating to the location, because of course we are not in Fort Collins, so I need to zoom in a little bit. But if you are on site, we do have that kind of zoom to your location option, which will then just zoom you in at your site. So once we are here, let's do an inspection for our first site, and we do that by clicking on that specific location. And we also have an option of navigating to feature if you are not on site, so you know how to get there. So we are here, and we will click on edit. And once we do that, we can go through the survey. Of course, all the fields that you're seeing on the top are the ones that Barbara set to be read-only. So I'm not able to do any changes to it, but I'm able to do changes to the inspection. So let's say that I did an inspection on this site. It was at this time. And what I did is, where am I? Vegetation road. So I did tree removal. Once I did that, I will use a couple of photos as an evidence. Maybe our office tree. And let's just rewrite. And that's all that was required from me. So I say accept edits, the data goes through queue, automatically updates. Let's do another one. So let's do this one on the left. And again, we will make edits to it. And I will say that I was not able to do an inspection this time. And the reason for that is that I was missing a certain equipment. This inspection was done on this time. And what I did, nothing. Okay, and again, maybe a photo evidence of the missing equipment. So an empty area. And let's send it through. And I don't know, Barbara, do you want me to take another one?
Sure.
Sure. Let's do this one. Yeah, let's do this one. Edit. So this is a vegetation fallen tree. Yeah, we made an inspection. We did it maybe on a different time this time. And we removed it. Again, a couple of photos. I don't know, maybe my bottle. You can see multiple photos can be taken on a single photo field. So you don't need to have a couple of fields for just photos. And you can also take one from the album if you already have something taken previously. And we save it, data goes through automatically, and that's all there is to it. This is how you do an inspection, and the great thing about it is something that Barbara will now show you, or maybe I can talk and you can navigate.
Sure.
So back in the map editor, you are able to see all those updates that I just did. So Barbara, if you remember the ones that I did, yeah, this one. So we can see the photo taken, the inspection information that we wrote in just now, and we can also see which worker collected that information, that inspection. So I know this one on the left, this was the last one. So you can see Barbara actually didn't need to do any kind of refresh or things like that. So everything is synchronized and working live, which brings us that operational visibility that we talked about. It gives you real live data that you can react upon and get your work done. This was the missing equipment one. Okay, so maybe what's next? So a good question, yeah. What question we have is how can we find out if specific point has been already inspected, and maybe we can show you how you can actually classify your data based on the values. And Barbara, you would like to, okay, here it goes.
Good timing, because what we wanted to, of course, show you is right now we just have information about, of course, the incidents. You can see here they're all the same. But if you do want to have also a visual indication of whether something was maybe completed or not, you can easily just set up different classifications here through the layer properties directly in Map Editor. For example, if we say that we want to see whether something was, whether an inspection was done or not, or if it's simply not yet visited, we can go ahead and do that. Let me just change one of them to be different. There we go. So now we have 3 different colors for 3 different types of points that we have here. The black ones where the field workers still didn't get to it. They still haven't looked at that particular report. We have a red one where the inspection was done, so that's all good. And we also have one blue one here where they didn't manage to fix the issue that was there because of certain reasons. For example, this case, of course, they didn't have the equipment, but it can be anything, of course. So that's kind of what you can do to help both you here in the office, but also to the person in the field as well, because as they are accessing these points, as they're looking into them, the color, of course, the appearance will change for them as well, and they will see this change on the map as well reflected. So no worries about that. But what's next? So how do we actually complete the circle that we started? So we were in QGIS, we transferred our data here, created a data collection project. So now let's go ahead and see how we can take this data and bring it back into QGIS and work with real-time data in QGIS. Well, for that, the second part of our desktop and cloud integration comes into play. The web feature service, or this service that we offer through Map Editor. So how do we enable that? Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is take your map and create or rather copy the web feature service link that was created automatically for the map that you have here. We'll copy this link, and we can go back with this link directly into QGIS and add this same layer over there. Of course, we have it here, but if we actually replace this with a new one, a new web feature service layer, we can then start receiving completely real-time data. We can get the information directly from the field. So all I'll do is I'll make a new connection. I'll call this one incident reporting. And since this is a private map, I also have to log in with my credentials. Let's see. Okay, and this is just because we've entered a password, but there we go. And let's connect to it. There we go. So that's, it does have only one layer here, but that's because we've only made one of the layers editable and visible through web feature service. If you're, for example, adding a web map service, then you would, of course, see everything over here, the whole map. But in this case, we'll just add our incidents. And let's close this one. You can maybe turn off the previous ones and make these ones a bit more visible for you guys. Maybe make it a bit bigger as well. There we go. So those are all of our fields, or rather features, that we had in GISCLOUD. Web feature service doesn't transfer the symbology as well, but we can easily just create a new symbology over here. In fact, we actually have one that was previously prepared, so let's do that. Okay. Okay. And we also can maybe change this up a bit, or if you start adding new features, we will also be able to add them. So Antonia, while we're here, maybe you can add a couple of more features that we have. What do you think?
Yeah,
let's maybe change the classification here.
Made a couple of edits as well. I was able to add something on, so.
Okay, let's see. So I see that you did add, we had 16 before, so I think you added one more. I think it was this one, actually, but I'm not sure. Okay, and even if you make any kinds of adjustments, any changes to the existing ones, they will be visible here as well. The color will change. Sometimes you just need to maybe refresh. Of course, it just depends on your QGIS. But let's go ahead and let's see that too. Let's refresh it. Add a new one. Oh, I see the ones on the right here change color. That's because those features have been edited, so we've changed some information here. Okay, so I see this was a false report. And let's see, what does the information say from the field about this one? I think we did the inspection here. Yes, we did. Perfect. Maybe see a couple of more. And we have a new point here as well. So in essence, what you have now is a kind of a full circle. You had, of course, information from before here in QGIS. You can see that we have all of our layers from the project from before, but right now we also have the live information arriving from the field directly. So everything is kind of synced up. You don't have to, you know, make copies, or you don't have to manually add information from the field, because everything gets done automatically. Perfect. Okay, so maybe now is a good time to also see about some questions that you guys had, if that's okay with you. So let's see, we can maybe open up our questions over here and see. Maybe you can pick one that you like.
Maybe first to answer that, we will share the video recording afterwards. So we will send the recording if you request it, but I think that we will also have it available on our blog page, so don't worry about that one. As for the question regarding the utilizing of GIS Cloud in banking sector, we would love to have a separate demo session with you to go directly through your use case. So please reach out to us and we will schedule it. Anybody who would like to have that kind of one-on-one call, they can always reach out to us at info@giscloud.com, and we can put something on the calendar. So what happens when a second worker does inspection of the same point? Is the old data simply overwritten? But I think that maybe we resolve this with the data classification, where you actually see which inspection was already done or not, so he will know that somebody else already did that work, so he can go and proceed to another one. How can GIS Cloud help in wildlife management? Again, reach out to us. We will show you how you can utilize it in your use case. Hi, Simon. So your question is, I don't know, I will read it.
I think that was actually an answer to the wildlife management
okay.
question. So there we go.
Okay.
We even have you guys answering our questions. Great.
What about photos taken during monitoring visit? Can those photos also be published within QGIS?
Okay, so that's a great question, because of course within Map Editor you can review your photos directly over there, because it's something that's already built into Map Editor. For QGIS, I know that there are specific plugins that do allow you to attach photos to features. So maybe that's something to look into a bit more, but it is a QGIS feature. It's not a web feature service feature, let's call it that way. Okay, I think I saw a question about work orders and whether you can maybe assign them to specific users. Well, what you could do is simply have different classifications for different workers, so that they can see which features they should be working on, and you can even create separate maps for them or separate layers for them, so that they can only see exactly those features and the layers that they should be working on.
Okay, the question regarding web feature service layer editable in QGIS, I believe that we actually answered that during the demo. What is the best way to make edits to the layer from QGIS after data collection is set up? So what we did our edits through the mobile app and our map editor application, but Barbara is just now showing you how you can edit the data through QGIS as well. So it's pretty standard and basic, like you usually use QGIS. Okay, next question. Do I buy software or subscribe as service? Yeah, we don't have a software. GISCloud is fully cloud-based solution, and it's run on subscription plan, and we start from monthly subscription plans to annual ones. So depending on how long your project is lasting for, you can subscribe to that time period. You don't need to actually pay for the time that you are not utilizing the solution. And of course, you subscribe to the solution or the application that we offer and you need, because we do have several different applications available in GISCloud, as Barbara showed you at the beginning of the presentation. Maybe for all the pricing and licensing questions, we have them fully exposed on our GISCloud homepage. We do have also a calculator for the number of licenses, the number of users, everything regarding that. So maybe that would be the best way to inspect that on your own. But of course, depending on your project and your use case and needs, you can always schedule an individual session with us to go through the pricing plan. Yeah, presentation and recording will be available. Let's go through the we have a lot of repeated questions, or maybe questions that were arised prior to our showing you around. So we are just scrolling through them to see if everything was answered or not. Maybe a question regarding the nonprofit pricing. Yeah, of course, like we said, we do support a lot of nonprofit organizations in their charitable work, and for that purpose, we do have nonprofit pricing in place. So if you would like to know more about that, we would be happy to connect and talk about it. The mobile app is mobile data collection, but we also have one additional mobile application, and that is the Map Viewer. Map Viewer comes in two flavors, web-based application, but as well as a mobile application. So if you only need to view certain maps that somebody shared with you, you can use the Map Viewer mobile version as well. But yeah, the mobile data collection is the mobile app. So if there is no other questions, I think that we are right on time to finish for today. For you banking guys, please reach out. We would be happy to discuss and see how you can utilize GISCloud in your work. For nonprofits as well, for forestry, anybody from any industry, if you would like to have one-on-one with us, we will be happy to oblige. So do reach out at info@giscloud.com, as you can see on your screen. To repeat, recording will be available, so step by step to accomplish this kind of workflow for yourselves will be available, and we are here to help you every step of the way. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us again. Hope you're gonna have a great rest of your day. And we hope to hear from you very soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
And thank you for all the help that you did regarding our audio and video. So we appreciate you. Thank you. Bye-bye.